Happy Friday, y'all. We're continuing our reading to round out the week from John chapter 12. I want to pull out one line that was like a gut punch to me in our reading today. It's right halfway through the chapter where John is explaining why people couldn't believe in Jesus. We talked about that yesterday, but there are people who were believing, but they're not coming out in the open with it. And we're told this in John 12:42. He says, "Yet at the same time, many even among the leaders believed in him. But because of the Pharisees, they would not confess their faith, for fear they would be put out of the synagogue. For they loved praise from men more than praise from God." That line, "they loved praise from men more than they loved praise from God," really struck me. I wonder, what are the things I do or don't do because I'm worried about what other people will think about me or say about me, instead of being grounded in what I believe to be true about God and what he says about me. What we're witnessing here is so common. This happens in all of our lives, that we calculate our choice or our what we'll say based on how other people will respond. For this group of people, even the people in leadership, they were afraid of the people in power, that they might be thrown out of the synagogue. Now, to be thrown out of the synagogue was not only a disgrace, but remember, the synagogue is where they believed the Spirit of God dwelt. It was the center of all holiness, all political authority, all moral authority. And if you were cut out from there, you were just in exile, spiritually and socially. This was a high cost to pay for admitting belief in Christ. I wonder, where are you shy about your belief in Christ because you're afraid of what people might think? Now, this doesn't mean you have to go out verbally evangelizing everybody in every corner of your office. But are there ways that you subtly compromise because of your belief in Jesus and what it might cost you? Like the way you might stand up to a decision, or the way you might waver on your integrity because of what it might cost you. Do you compromise in what you watch on TV or what you listen to and call acceptable because it might make you uncomfortable or not fit in if you admit that because you believe in Jesus, you have a higher standard of what you consume, of what you do, of how you behave? Let me read this for you one more time. "Yet at the same time, many even among the leaders believed in him. But because of the Pharisees, they would not confess their faith, for fear they would be put out of the synagogue." So it's a very real cost to them. "For they loved praise from men more than praise from God." One of the things I think is hard is to hear the praise from God. We don't believe that we're worthy enough or loved by God. Can you turn up that volume today to remember that God made you, he knows you, and he loves you? And that praise from the maker of the universe, who holds all things together, even though you can't see it or touch it, that praise is infinitely more valuable than the praise you might get from a colleague or a family member or a deal that gets sealed in a certain way. How does it sit with you today? Where do you love the praise of men more than the praise of God?